Hello, Jevon.
We are live. Goodness gracious.
Oh my goodness. It was a
Yeah.
challenge today, was it
Oh,
not?
my word. My word. My word.
So how have you
We
been?
are now. Can you hear me now?
I can.
I can barely hear you.
You
Barely.
can why is it you can barely hear me?
I
Wait a minute,
don't
let me
know.
see what's happening. It's all the way. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. It
Lots
is
better.
all the way up to the top.
It's got to be me over here since I tried to put um, that audio thing in my new camera. It didn't work. I think I crossed some wires there. I probably should have
Oh, okay.
shut her down and come all the way back up.
Oh, okay.
I
Well,
got
let's see if we can get through it, and then you can make your adjustments
yes.
and get
The
it to
universal.
working.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
Universal fix it. Okay, exciting things to talk about today.
Oh, good.
I had in my little thing before I had to shut down and do all kinds of funky stuff that um, Elon Musk is getting sued,
He
and
is.
yeah, and there is easing in the domestic delivery dates. They're becoming shorter, and some people think the same is with inflation. Like that's going to be coming back pretty soon. And last but not least, it's Yul Brynner's birthday.
Oh,
So
wow. Wow, wow,
I
wow.
thought, because of all that, people usually ask me, what should I do? And of course, I always tell them to get a well diversified portfolio. But
Right.
before we do that, I thought I would read your bio
Okay.
and then we can jump right in. Are you
Uh,
cool with that?
I am good with that.
Okay, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my friend and colleague Crystal Mitchell. She is a business consultant, a business coach and consultant, I'm sorry. CEO of Mitchell Business Solutions. She's the co-director of Recycling Black Dollars, co-host of The Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert, a weekly online radio show. Some of us call it the other radio show. She's an instructor at Mount San Antonio Community College, a certified network for teaching entrepreneurship instructor, and a QuickBooks Pro Advisor financial strategist. Welcome, Ms. Mitchell, and thank you for joining me on this exciting program.
Glad to be here. I'm glad to be. We haven't been here in a little bit because we had some holidays.
Yes.
That way we had the Juneteenth, and I think we came back, and then we had Fourth of July,
Yeah.
and so we are right here in summer. I just started my summer biz camp with my kids that are becoming entrepreneurs.
Yay.
Yeah, so
Yay.
that's my whole month of July, and oh my God, do I have some smart cookies this go round? We have
Cool.
30, 38 kids
Wow.
that's
Wow.
all excited, and
Yeah.
so we have
You know,
class every.
after
Hmm?
the show, I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
I said so we have all month with the kids until the
Okay.
29th when they graduate.
Beautiful. Let's
Hmm.
talk about getting you some more funding for that because I think you do a lot of that yourself. Is that not
I
correct?
actually, well, actually, that those are funded right now. We're being funded by Price Waterhouse,
Okay.
um, and we got a couple of other entities that have been over the years. But you know what? It could be pretty cool, and we can talk about this after. What I love with the kids is to bring mentors in from from the business world to talk to
Oh
the
yeah.
kids about various assets. So maybe we can have you come on and talk to them about when they get their businesses up to running and what
Oh,
retirement plans look like. Even at this age, they need to know that this is a good age to start that, right?
you're right. You know that is an excellent idea. I would be happy to do that. Just to because I remember when I was in school, I don't even think we learned how to write a check. We might have learned how to write a check, but we certainly didn't learn about insurance or retirement plans or anything like that. And that progressed even through my college years. So anything I can do to stem that tide, and I'm in. So yeah, let me
Okay,
know
all
about
right.
that. But
So
we'll
I'll
talk
send
about
you over some.
some
Yeah.
funding as well. Maybe I I just have a couple ideas for you.
Okay, all right, sounds good. But I am ready for today, and you did open it up with Elon Musk suing Twitter, and Twitter going no, Twitter suing him for backing
Yes,
out.
yes, yes.
Um, I'm almost convinced that maybe the inflation is politically connected.
Nah,
Mm.
don't be that way. Don't be that way now.
But we still have to be prepared, nevertheless,
There you go. There you go. That's very true. Very true. Well,
just in case.
we often, my answer for so many of the questions here that we get are, you need to have a well diversified portfolio. And that's very true. But I was thinking last night, I guess, that I often say that, but I don't think we've actually had a chance to tell people what that actually means, a
Yeah.
well diversified portfolio, what that is. And so I thought I might take some time today to help people figure out how to do that. And then I thought, it's a lot. Well, it was like 6 months of training for me, but it's and a couple of licenses and some experience, all of that. I figured I'd do that in about 10 minutes. Yeah. So I thought maybe we could, um, without trying, if I get, I can get a little pompous, so just rein me in. But I
All righty.
thought we could do sort of a series about well diversified portfolios,
I like that.
what
I
they
like
look
that.
like, how
Yeah.
to get them.
Because
Okay.
that could be a little bit different right now, right? Because of is so much influxing going on, I guess is for a good word. With stable stock going up and down, and do we go with bonds? What do we do? Folks that are all in the crypto world, wait, what are we doing right now? Because this kind of uh the market is in a wow, right?
Yes,
It's
it's
in a
in. I think a
wow.
wow is a good word for it. Yeah, yeah. I think you're absolutely right.
All
Yeah.
righty.
Wow. I think the screen just got bigger. I don't know what happened, but the screen got bigger. So we're rolling
Oh,
with that.
okay.
Okay, so a well diversified portfolio. And the reason that that's important, so important for retirement plans, and I'm going to go off on a limb and hopefully not get too many letters, but retirement planning is that there's some very specific rules to how we look at retirement plans, and they follow a few categories. And just real quick, I
Okay.
don't want to spend very much time on this, so we can get to what a well diversified plan looks like. But short and simple, when we do a retirement plan for people, that is a plan specifically for retirement. It's not for anything else, just for retirement. That is how to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we use Markowitz theory of asset allocation, and there's some rules going on with that. And we use what's called dollar cost averaging, and there's some rules going on with that. And we use
Okay.
reevaluating and rebalancing. Let's break those down just really quick and just kind of hitting them. I guess what do you call that? Just the little top pieces there. So
Okay.
Markowitz suggested that in order to have long-term gains, uh, a person should use the theory, and we call it. We have a name for it that I just ran out of my head. Modern portfolio theory is what we
There
call it.
we go. There you go.
MPT, modern portfolio.
Got it back.
So, yeah, and that suggests that we have essentially a little bit in as many different pockets as we can get. Therefore, the word diversified.
Okay.
And we have some tools to help us do that. We're going to talk about one of those now. And I know you've heard me say it, but take the questionnaire. That is the deal. Every major mutual fund family has a questionnaire because everybody in this industry wants you to get the right asset allocation. And the reason everybody wants the customer to get the right asset allocation is because if you do, this pressure that we have, or this fear that we have, doesn't exist. It
Mm.
pretty much goes away if you have the right mix of stocks and bonds. And that
Okay.
entails something that we don't tell you. There's a couple of things as financial advisors that we don't tell you. And one is the mindset that goes along with getting the right mix. So it's not necessarily what you're investing in. What's most important is how you think about it. So I'll touch on that a little bit more. So that's rule
Okay.
number one, or I'm sorry, tool number one, modern portfolio theory. Spread your money around, right, to get the
Okay.
best
Okay.
over a long period of time. And that has to go in there too. And what's a long period of time? Generally, 5 to 10 years. That's a long period of time. Okay. So if you got more than that, we want to have a well-diversified portfolio. If you have less than that, we wanted you to have a well-diversified portfolio when you were putting the money in. Now we got to do something different. Okay. And that's cool. That's fine. That's why we have financial advisors out there. Okay. Now, the second tool is dollar cost averaging. It's so important. And all that is putting money in on a regular basis, right? And we're very fortunate in the qualified plan world because we put money in when we get paid. You put the money in, you put the money in, putting money in. If you're
Okay.
fortunate enough to have a match, they may put that money in when you get paid. They may put that money in quarterly or semi-annually, but they're doing it on regular intervals. And they're doing it for a specific period of time, and that is how long you work. And um, and I think those are the big rules. Number one, put the money in whatever's happening. And number two, do it on a regular basis. That's incredibly important. And if we do that, then that means that we have the mindset, again, with that thing, that we're just going to keep putting the money in. So when my folks say to me, should I stop putting money in because it's a down market? I say, no, don't stop. Because number one, we want to buy low and sell high. But number two, here's the big one. And that is, as financial advisors, when we're trying to sell you our service, we say to you things like, if the market goes down 10 points, you have to go back 20% in growth in order to actually break even, right? Because when you go down 20, if you go down 10 points, the first 10 just gets you to zero.
Right.
So you haven't made any money yet, right? And then the
Mm-hmm.
next 10, that gets you back up to 20. So if you go down 10, you got to go back 20 before you're really getting your 10%. Does that make sense?
Okay, it does.
So that's when the financial advisor says, so you're back at zero. Let's just stay here. Or so let's get you back at least to zero and add a little bit more aggression to your portfolio. Or so let's do whatever, da 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 da. And they make a plan from there. And that's not a bad way to go. And if I
Mm-hmm.
was a financial advisor, I probably might say that. But since I'm inside the retirement plan, I'm using modern portfolio theory and I'm using dollar cost averaging and I'm reevaluating and rebalancing. I've got a little bit different take because what that advisor doesn't tell you is that if you decide to buy low all the time that you're getting back to zero, that is all the time that the market is going back up to where you get to zero, you're buying cheap stuff. And when you buy that cheap stuff, that increases and it increases more than your stuff increased. So now when you get back to zero, your portfolio is actually a little bit higher because when that stuff starts to improve, even though your stock is just going to zero, that stuff is going past it. Does that make sense?
Okay, so let me see if I understand. So when I just looked at my little portfolio, it's kind of scary. I haven't looked at it in a couple of days because there's been too much stuff going on, but it ain't looking too pretty over there. So what you're saying is to find stock that are really low right now,
Yep.
but keep buying whatever that is in volume for me until that, which may be progressing faster than what I already have in this ugly looking little portfolio right now, and will over supersede that. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. So remember,
Is that
it wasn't supposed to sound quite like that. But
let
remember,
me change it. This bloodbath will look better then, right?
remember, these things all come together, Crystal. Well, don't be Don't be getting things twisted and splitting them up. So
Okay.
you got to
Okay.
have a well-diversified portfolio,
Right.
and you got a dollar cost average. Now, here's the reason why. If you get a well-diversified portfolio and the market is doing good, where everything is doing well, some things
Yes.
are growing faster than others.
Right.
Right. Okay. Theoretically, the market is supposed to go up and down. So there's a very good chance that for most of us, for most of the time that we've been investing, the market has been going up and down. And sometimes it goes up a little and goes down, and it goes up a little and goes down a little. It's a jagged thing, right?
Right.
Nothing is straight. Okay.
Right.
So
Exactly.
I would say to folks, and I'll just, boy, all kinds of stuff. So for most Americans, our portfolio that has some stock and some bonds is a good thing. And the reason we say that is that bonds and stocks act differently from each other. As stocks go up, bonds tend to go down, and vice versa.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And that makes sense. They're different, right? One goes up, the
Right.
other one goes down.
Right. 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 Right.
Also, that up and down thing is happening in the market. Now, for the last 10 years, we've seen investments in technology go up dramatically, whereas some other investments haven't done that so much, right? So when the investments in technology crash, they go on sale. There's a lot of value of folks that folks have in that portfolio that seems to go down.
Mm-hmm.
But if they were paying attention to modern portfolio theory and they were dollar cost averaging, they were putting money in all the time, in regular intervals rather, then even though that technology was going up, some other places in the economy were going down, but we were still buying them. So, for example, international investments, or maybe bonds, or maybe even value companies versus growth-oriented companies. Those big technological conglomerates,
Right.
um, where they were going crazy. So everybody's getting on that bandwagon, making them go crazy. But the
Right.
other companies, like, oh, I don't know, the companies you get your steel wool from, or your toilet paper, or your the companies you buy your soap, those
Mm-hmm.
kinds of companies, they weren't cruising as much. And then you've got those companies that were actually not cruising well at all, right? So, like, oh, I don't know, some companies, even in technology, they just weren't doing all that well, like some of those robotic companies, or maybe even some of those old school companies like utilities, or we call them, they're sort of stable, right? They don't really
Right.
go up and down too much, they're just kind of stable.
Right.
So a modern portfolio would have all of those,
Okay.
all of those companies, and it would have large companies as well as medium-sized companies as well as small companies. So it's a very good chance that overall, depending on our portfolio, it might have been going up, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then when
Mm-hmm.
the big driver dropped, and so for a lot of us, that was technology. When the big driver
Mm-hmm.
dropped, those little companies, they didn't drop as much, and they were dramatically less expensive to buy anyway. So all this time you were buying those companies, now the market is starting to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because you were buying those companies in such a depressed way, you don't have to take as much risk, or you're not taking as much risk, because they're going to rise up, right? They're going to,
Mm.
you bought those at a very cheap price. So you don't have to make what you made with your tech companies in order to be on top again.
Okay.
So now, why is this significant? It's significant because when we talk about retirement, and I'm going to say, if you separate your retirement investing away from your other investing, so maybe you don't have a 401k plan, maybe you just have an account that you're putting things away specifically for retirement. If that's
Mm-hmm.
the case, whatever, a retirement plan account.
Right.
Um, if that's your deal, then even if you are only dependent upon those growth tech stocks in order to define your portfolio, you'd be in trouble now. You'd be like, wow, I gotta wait until technology explodes because now it's
Yeah.
cheap. Now I'm worried.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
technology ain't going nowhere, so it will come back. It will
Mm-hmm.
explode. But to ease your pain, you can see modest growth because you've been buying all this cheap stuff. And now you've been buying cheap technology and cheap other stuff. Everything's cheap.
Mm,
So since everything's cheap, a lot of this stuff is going to grow dramatically faster because it's so much cheaper than the technology stuff. So if it
right, right.
grows, right?
I
So if
get
it
it. I
grows
get it.
15%, life is good, right? So that's why
Mm-hmm.
we say, hey, if you got 30, 40, 50 years to invest, you're going to see the market go up and down. So start your kids out on amount that they should put in the market over a regular basis. Let's say, I don't know, $100 a month. Start
Okay.
them at 20 years old and just have them put that money in and watch it go up and down, but watch it increase when the market starts to come back and watch it sort of level out when the market is doing fairly well. And understand that when I buy low, I make money.
Okay.
Kind of like when you buy a house, right?
Right.
Let's say all things are equal, you buy a house not at the top of the market, but you buy a house for, I don't know if you can do this, but let's say you buy a house here for $50,000 somewhere outside of California.
45, 50 years ago in California.
Hello, right? Right. So you buy your house for 50K 25
Yeah.
years ago. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And you sell it for $800,000.
Right.
So you just made $775,000. Make
Yeah.
sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What if you had bought that house 4 years later and paid 200,000 for it? So instead of 775,000, if we take 200,000, we subtract that from 800,000, you only made $600,000.
Right. Exactly.
Right? That's the game we're playing. That's the mindset we have with investing in a retirement plan. So I have to ask our guests to do two things. One, think about retirement as a different plan from your regular investments.
Mm.
Don't, and so now, and when it comes to the retirement money, specifically for retirement, then we're going to invest that a little bit differently. We're just going to keep putting that money in. And now we got to have different pools, right? So we got one retirement pool, which is very conservative. We just keep putting the money in. Just put it in.
Mm-hmm.
Do
Mm-hmm.
it on a regular basis. Every Tuesday afternoon, we put some money in. Put the money in on
Right.
Tuesday afternoons, whether it is every paycheck or what have you.
Right.
Keep putting that money in. With the money that we have, that we're just going to, I wouldn't say play around with it, but we're gonna. It's not necessarily for retirement. We're gonna grow this and maybe do some other things with it for that money. Then we want to call up our stock advisor, not me. We're going to call up our stock advisor and say, "Hey,
Clarity.
yeah, hey, have you got some something I can invest in?" And that person's going to say, "Oh, you mean like some swampland in Arizona? You've come to the right person." So, I'm just teasing. No cards and letters for my other financial advisor friends, but that's the time when you want to get into those theories. Okay, so is that company going to add that new product to their current product line? Is this change that they're putting in, is that going to do a good thing? Or what was the performance like? Or how'd they do over the last 5 years? Or what's it look like in our economy for the next 5 years? Or how long do I want to be in here? 3 years. What are they doing in 3 years? That kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I I'm not gonna. However it is that you decide that you want to buy something, fine, do that there. That's
Mm-hmm.
very cool. Don't do that in your retirement plan because you're messing up the rules. In the retirement plan thing, we want to buy low, and so this opportunity that we have, we are licking our lips. We're like, what's his name? Warren Buffett, right? Where he says,
Mm-hmm.
"When the streets are running with blood, go get it, baby." That's
Mm-hmm.
That's what we want to do. The
with
streets
with
are running with
with stock that you use with products that you use every day.
Hello, hello. They're
No
on
matter
sale.
what's going on in the economy, go get you some toilet paper stock.
There you go. There you go.
Some
Toilet paper stock
railroad
is
stock.
always a good way to go.
Always a good thing. Always a good day. Toilet paper and food.
You know, I mean, when you get right down to it, it's just that they're not that exciting, but who doesn't use it, right?
Right. It's every day. Every day.
Yeah,
That's what he does every day. So
yeah.
I
So
kind of take some of his philosophy,
there you go.
although but then I know a whole lot of crazy stuff went on. It's Monday morning, so Monday is a crazy day for the stock market. See what
Crazy
everything
day.
look like on Wednesday.
Crazy, yeah. Crazy day. And
Mm,
even now, it's never right out there for you, right? I was
no.
listening to some shows, some talk shows. Like I just get all of my news from talk shows, but I was listening to a couple of financial shows on Saturday, and they made a
hmm
very, very good point, and that is that we don't know it's a recession until it's over with.
Yeah.
And we have to look back and go, oh, that was a recession. And then we say, oh, it was a recession. You should have done X. Well, if you had told me that 2 weeks before the
Right.
recession had come, I might have had a chance of getting that done.
hmm
And that's why it's so tough to invest. And that's why when it comes to your retirement plan, because you have a lot of time usually, and you're going to use the rules of dollar cost averaging, we say get that well diversified portfolio that's spread across a lot of different industries because you never know which one's going to be going up and which one's going to go down. And you're hoping to find both in your portfolio. You want both in the portfolio. And then
hmm
keep putting that money in. So now when people say to me, Jevon, this market is going crazy. I don't know whether I should pull the money out. I don't know where I should put it. Nothing seems to be safe. I mean, I used to have it in technology and now that's blown up. I used to have it
hmm
in value companies like those toilet paper companies. And now
hmm
that's blown up. I used to have it in utilities because that was relatively stable. And now that's not doing all that great. And then we've got the supply chain thing. I don't know what's going on, but we have this high
hmm
employment rate. People are getting paid, people are going to work.
Mhm.
Well,
Mhm. Mhm.
what should you do for your retirement plan? Make sure you've got the right asset allocation for you. And if you do, then you're not really asking me the question. If you have the right asset allocation, you're looking for this time period so that you can buy low across the board. Because
Okay.
when we were, when I'll tell you what was going on before Mr. Biden got in office, if we could say that, right? The market was booming. We were putting in the same amount of money, but it wasn't going very far,
Right.
right? So we were putting in our $100 a paycheck, let's say, but we were buying just for grants, just for numbers' sake, we were buying investments that cost us $95. So we could buy one stock in a little bit,
Mhm.
okay, but it was growing in value. Now we get to take that same amount of money, and let's say the investments are only $20. And we get to buy 5 times as much. At the end of the day, we don't even have to make a huge amount of money. We don't even have to take a huge amount of risk because at the end of the day, because we've bought so much, and even if it's little, even just inflation is going to make it go up. I mean, just think about when you buy a car, right?
Mhm.
Now, I'm not old enough to remember this, but some people tell me that cars used to go for a couple $1,000s. Easy,
Yeah, they did.
right? Back,
Back.
back in the day. But now you can, if you want to, with so much ease, you can pay 40, 50K for a car,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Right. Oh, yeah. Since the pandemic or during that time, the prices are outrageous for a simple truck. It could be
Yeah.
60, 70, $80,000. That used to be, when I first bought my car, you know, a BMW, a luxury car would be about 50,000, right?
Mhm.
a year. I mean, 50,000 for the purchase of a car. Now that's the low end of the luxury marketplace. Or heck, that's not even that. That's not even a Toyota.
That's huge, man.
That's not even Hyundai anymore.
See? So, and a lot of that is inflation. So
Yes.
inflation is kind of a good thing for investors over a period of time. I mean, we all sit there and go, oh, things are more expensive, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, it, it's just one of those things. Part of the growth in the market is inflation. So we got
Yeah.
to remember that. Okay.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
true.
So that is, when did we start this thing? Did we start this at 2?
No, I think we're a little bit earlier. I think it was like 1:30ish or something like that.
Okay,
It
so
might
I
have
want to
been.
read your bio one more time, and then I want to
Okay.
jump into how to get that well-diversified portfolio in the stock section. Is that okay?
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
What's that?
That sounds excellent to me.
Okay, good deal. All right. So what did I do with you here? I did something with you. Here we go. Okay. Please, everyone, let me introduce you to my friend, Crystal Mitchell. Crystal is a business coach and consultant. She's also the CEO of Mitchell Business Solutions. She's the co director of Recycling Black Dollars. She's the co host of The Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert, another weekly radio show. She is an instructor at Mount San Antonio Community College, a certified network for teaching entrepreneurship instructor, and a QuickBooks Pro Advisor financial strategist. Thanks for being with us, Crystal. I'm Jevon
Thank you.
Thomas. I'm a registered financial advisor, and I specialize in company sponsored retirement plans. Okay, so we're gonna make this pretty simple. Have you got your pen and paper?
I do.
Okay, so I'm gonna do this with you. And I
Okay.
wanted to do it this way because it's a little bit easier to talk through it rather than if I show you a picture, because then you got to try to download the thing.
Okay. All righty.
All right, so what we're going to do is I'll write it down and just show it to you. We're going
Okay.
to make a square that has 9 cubes in it. So theoretically, we're going to make a square that has 2 lines going up, 2 lines going across. 9 cubes. Are you with me?
Okay. I gotcha.
Okay. Square. Pretty good size. You're going to write in the cubes. Pretty good.
Okay.
So here's our square. Yay.
Got it.
There.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to go across. Okay. So I got 9 cubes. Yay.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Mine don't look so clean as yours, but yeah, I got it.
Practice yesterday.
Ah. Practice makes perfect, they say. Okay.
How's yours look?
It's looking pretty good. I don't know
You're
if
going to
you
show
can.
me? Beautiful. Beautiful,
Okay.
beautiful.
All right. All
Okay.
right.
So in the top left-hand square,
Okay.
outside of it,
Okay.
outside of the top left-hand square to the left, we're going to
Got it.
put LG for large. So it looks like that.
All right. Got my
Can you
large.
see
Uh oh.
that?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Okay.
My
LG
large.
left. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And underneath that, we're going to put 10 billion.
10 billion with a
10
B.
billion. Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
so this is a diagram for stocks only. We're going to do another one of these shows for bonds, and then we're going to do
Okay.
another one of these shows for how to pick them. Okay?
Oh, okay. Okay.
This is just showing you what you need to have. Okay?
Okay.
It'll make sense once we get there. All right, so large, we got 10 billion. So what that's telling us is that if we're going to collect large companies, we want to make sure their capitalization is over $10 billion.
Oh, okay.
It's over 10 billion. So in the world of stocks, we have large there in right just left side of the middle bracket
Okay.
at the top of there. Put mid for me, MID. Looks like this. Can you see it?
Do it up. Oh, no, wait. Do it again. Shift it a little bit. Come back. Okay. Yeah. So mid right there in the top part.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in the same spot, but for the third column, for the third row, we're going to call that small.
And we're going to call that small.
Small.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So right underneath mid, we're going to put the number 8. Well, just put 2 to 8 million. 2 to 8 billion. I'm sorry.
2 to 8 billion.
2 to 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then small is anything under 2.
Anything under 2 billion?
Billion.
Okay.
So it looks kind of like that.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Not really, but let me see if you can see mine. Oops, because of the backgrounds. Sometimes you get to see. Okay. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
You see it now?
Uh-huh. Put it right in front of you.
Like this?
Yeah.
No!
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. All right. So here we go, like that.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. So, oh, I see. You did it on the side. So this one's okay. I got it now for sure. 2 to 8 billion, and then small is under 2
Under 2.
billion. Okay. Got it. Got it.
Okay. So that's telling us in our market, we want to have large caps, medium-sized caps, and small cap, and small companies. Capitalization, or I abbreviate that as CAP, is the amount of money those companies are worth in the stock market.
Okay.
So when we say small company, we mean it's worth $2 billion in the stock market. So this ain't mom and pop stuff here.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm just going to tell you right here, we want to have all of that in our portfolio.
All of them, large, medium, and small.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're going to split it up a little bit more. If you take a look at that column that's right outside of large there, right?
Okay.
In
Mm-hmm.
that column, put at the top a V.
A V.
V for value.
Okay. For value. Okay.
Yeah. And then go all the way over to the right-hand column and put a
Mm-hmm.
G. Just like that.
And that's going to stand for
For growth. G for growth.
growth. Okay. All right. Got it.
Can you see me there? Can you see me?
I can. I can.
Okay. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So that means that we're going to have large, medium, small companies. We're going to have value companies and growth companies
Okay.
in our portfolio. Okay. Now, what do we mean by value companies? Value companies are those companies that we were talking about before. You know, these are like the toilet papers, the paper towels. These are companies that
Been around for a long time. Have
yeah,
longevity.
yeah, they're going to be around for a while, but they're
Mm-hmm.
not all that exciting. I mean, nobody gets excited about Procter and Gamble.
Right.
Fantastic company,
Right.
but it's palm olive, dish soap, toilet paper.
Things you use every
Woo!
day, but
Every
not
day,
right. Exactly. That
right?
you take for
Toothpaste.
granted.
We do, right? But there's
Mm-hmm.
people working there
Mm-hmm.
and they're making money. They're buying houses, sending their kids to college and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
And they have value on the stock market. Okay. So those are
Mm-hmm.
the value companies. So we want to get large company value, mid-sized company value, small company value companies. Make sense?
Okay. So in the mid size, um, so those other companies could have been around for the last 40, 50, 100 years, right?
Yep. Yep.
So the mid size, would that be companies maybe 40 years ago, 30 years ago?
Well, actually, we're going to base it on their capitalization. That is the amount
Oh,
of
okay.
money that
Oh, how
they're
much
worth
money they've
in the stock
acquired.
market.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
And then we go all the way over to the right, the column with the G.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I guess for you folks it's the left, but for me it's the right. Over
Okay.
here with the G in there. You see that?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep, got it. Mm-hmm.
Those are what we call growth companies. These are the exciting ones. These are the ones we put that money in, it grows 40%, we take it out. And we go to the cocktail party, we say, I made 40% in the market, woohoo, and we keep putting it in and taking it out, putting it in and taking it out. Man, this is the ride, baby. This is the ride.
Is this the Disneyland E-Ride?
Hello. I don't even know what Disneyland E-Ride is, but I'm imagining that's what it is. Yes. Yeah.
Back in the day before they had the unlimited ticket at Disneyland,
Yeah.
the best rides were on the e-ticket.
Ah, Star
And so
Wars, that kind of
Star Wars,
thing.
all of those would have been the best rides. So you only had you didn't have a whole lot of those,
Yeah.
but you got a little book. And so
Yeah.
it went from A to E, and E was the best ride, best
Okay.
e-ticket ride.
Those are
So
those guys.
these
That's
are the
those guys.
e-ticket rides, right?
There you go. The e-ticket ride. That's the one.
Okay.
So we want to have large growth companies, medium-sized growth companies, small growth companies, all based on their
Okay.
capitalization, literally capitalization. And we know that small growth companies are growth companies under 2 million. They're exciting. We're jumping on that stuff. We think they're going to grow. We want to get them now.
Right. Okay.
Conversely, we also want small value companies, small stable eddy companies like that taxi cab service or whatever. They get going and they day after day and they have a little stock there and people buy it, but it ain't all that exciting. But you know, it's just stable stuff, and
Okay.
stable's even a misnomer because man, if a rising tide raises all boats, a lowering tide lowers all
Those are
boats.
all boats.
So, okay.
You guys
But
have such colorful language in the financial
there you
industry.
go. The good thing though is
Analogies.
to remember that they don't tend to go up as high or down as low,
Mm,
whereas growth companies they go way up, and they go way down. But everybody
okay.
likes them because they're the winners. We want to go with the winner. We like the winners. Well,
Hmm.
winners. Well, we all know defense wins championships, right? Not
Hmm.
buckets. Defense does.
Right.
So this is where your defense is on the value side. Right?
Mm. Okay. So that's the decent side.
That's the defense
That
side.
makes sense.
Okay. Now the column in the middle is very interesting. It's one of my favorite columns, and you could put on there. Um, there's two ways to go. I'm gonna say blend. Put a B in the top of that column.
Okay.
You should have value, blend, and growth.
Okay.
B,
All right. VB G. Okay.
B, B, G.
Mm-hmm.
So what we should have is on the right hand side of my screen, we should have we should
You're right.
have
Right there. That's good. Right there. Stay put.
yeah, on the right hand
Okay.
side we should have VBG across the top.
Uh-huh.
We should have uh, a square down through the middle with
Uh-huh.
nothing, right? And
Uh-huh.
then one at the
Uh-huh.
bottom with
Right.
nothing there. And then we've got, man, I need to get that camera. And then we've got large, medium, small across the right. We
Right. We have
got
large, medium, small. Right.
yeah,
So we
down
are
the side
good. We got a nice little square with some good stuff in it.
and
Like
nine
that.
cubes.
And
Yeah,
9 cubes.
yeah. There you go.
Mine's a little scratchy up, but that's it.
No, it looks good. It looks good. It looks good. That just means you're paying attention. That's all.
Yes.
Okay. So the deal is you want to fill that square, right? Now here's the deal.
Mm.
We've been doing this stuff for a long time. So I already know the right amount of value versus growth, large, medium, small. I've already got that. I already know
Hmm.
what that is. We've worked that out mathematically back in the 60s,
Okay.
way back there. So everybody already knows that. The problem is we don't know how much of this you need
Hmm.
versus how much in bonds you need. Next week, we'll cover bonds. This week,
Okay.
we're just going to stick here.
Okay.
So the big thing that we need to worry about is that the ultimately over 90% of the growth in your portfolio comes
Mm-hmm.
from your mix of stocks versus bonds.
Okay.
So it's really not as important as to which stocks you have. What's most important is the value, the number of stocks versus bonds that you have in your portfolio,
Okay.
right?
Mm.
So that's why I say to everybody, take the questionnaire. Because once I get the questionnaire and we start talking the same language, my moderate is your growth is my growth, my value
Mm.
is your value. Once we start talking the same language, if you give me that you're supposed to have 80% of your assets in stock and 20% in bonds, or 10% of your assets in stock and 90% in bonds, I
Mm-hmm.
can get you squared away. No even
Mm.
problem. But if you
Okay.
don't tell me that, then I can't help you. Because then you're
Mm.
like, well, how old are you? Oh, you should be aggressive. Okay. It's just not true. I've told you about
Mm.
my ex, right?
Yeah.
My ex, right? So
Yeah.
it happens, right? She got mellower in her older age. So
Cause
when
cause during those times when she wasn't willing to take risks, she saved enough money so she could breathe.
exactly, right? She didn't drink as much beer as I did. She saved
Right.
her money.
Right.
So you can't look at someone's age and say you ought to be 50-50. You can't look at someone's age and say you should be 60-40. You can't do
Right.
that. It doesn't work. It's wrong. It's, in my opinion, it's unethical. So when people
Right.
come to me and they want help with their portfolios and they say things like, hey, I'm married, I have 2 kids, my husband is got a great job at blah 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 blah. I'm not exactly sure where to put the money. And I say, take the questionnaire. They
Mm-hmm.
say, I really don't understand finance. I say, take the questionnaire.
Yes.
And they say, could you just put me where you would put your mom? And I say, A, you're not my mother. B, my mother had all kinds of stuff going on. See, mom's dead. So we really can't put you where we put mom. You gotta take the questionnaire.
Gotta take the questionnaire.
Now, I'll tell you this, many of the folks that work in the same field as I do, they don't use the questionnaire. I don't know how to do someone's portfolio without the questionnaire.
Mm.
I think it's unethical not to use the questionnaire. And I
Mm.
think you should do it at least once a year. And I think you're going to get it wrong. I think the first couple of times you do it, you're going to get it wrong. And I think that's okay, right? Because we got to
Mm.
start somewhere. But after you
Okay.
do it once or twice, you'll get it. It'll start to reflect who you are.
Mm.
So I used to tell people to take the questionnaire every 6 months, and they would look at me and go, "Oh, come on, Jay." And I would say to them, "Hey, it should take you 10 minutes with a sandwich to take the questionnaire." And like I said, every mutual fund company I've ever heard of, every 401k company I've ever heard of has a questionnaire. It's 10 questions. You can do it on a Saturday. Without
Mm.
that, we're not giving you good guidance.
Right. 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 Right.
Okay. So the trick in then is to fill that in. So we'll go through, we've got that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, the last thing that I'll tell you about this portfolio is that usually we want to put 70% of our assets in the large caps, 20% in medium sized companies, and 10% in the small companies. So it should look
Okay.
like that 70-20.
Oh, so say that again. In the large, you want 70%.
Yeah, large 70,
Okay.
medium 20, and then small 10.
Okay.
And then if you have um, an 80% portfolio with 20% bonds, then we adjust and we go all the way down.
Okay. Okay.
So there you have it. That's how we get a large. I mean, that's how we get a diversified portfolio for. That's what a diversified portfolio ought to have in it. And
Okay.
there's one
All
more
right.
caveat,
What's that?
and that my phone's ringing for some stupid reason. Ugh, how about off? Okay, okay. Sorry about that.
That's
That
okay.
is that over 50% of your investment options are outside the country. So it behooves most investors to have about 50% of their assets outside the country. So somewhere on the bottom, you want to put international.
And that'll be a good topic on how exactly you do that.
Yeah. No, it would be. It would be. And we will. Oh, that was a
Okay.
cue. That was a
That was a
cue.
cue. That was a cue. You got it.
Whenever
I
you
threw
leave a cue, you're supposed to say hint, hint.
hint,
Yes.
hint. I threw the pass and you caught it.
Okay, so that's how we get the large cap. Now the second one, large caps. I'm sorry. That's how we get the stock thing broken up. The
Okay.
second series thing is going to be the bond portfolios, and then the third thing is going to be how to pick the individual ones. And I'm doing that for a reason. Just hang with me. Just hang with me. And then you'll have how to get that well diversified portfolio, and you probably won't need to talk to me anymore once you do that.
Yeah, no, they will because they still won't. That won't be enough. They still need to talk to you because trust
Okay.
me, they're not going to be able to trust themselves completely.
Okay. That's all I have for today's show.
I think that was absolutely awesome, and I'm looking forward to next week.
Yay! Yay!
Yay!
You're
Yay!
so
Yay!
kind. I'm
Yay!
I'm gonna do my best to have my little camera guy working, and you know,
And I'm gonna give you another suggestion when we get off air on
okay,
so that we can make sure we can see the board.
there you go, there you
Hmm.
go. Okay, so Crystal, it
I
is
think I
always a
think it was a
pleasure.
great
Always working
show.
with you. Why don't you take us out? I need to get going and stuff.
All righty. So, guys, we great lesson today on making sure that we have a balanced portfolio. We just didn't just tell you about it, read about it. He actually showed you a graph. And next week we will be back. So come on back, y'all, everybody. We're going to be doing bonds next week, and the week after that, we're going to be doing your own individual portfolio. So you don't want to miss any of this. So come on back. We'll see you next week.
Cool beans. Thank you, Crystal. We'll see you next time. Bye
All
bye.
righty. Bye bye, everyone.